Scotland Yard has made no less than 42 requests in 3 years asking YouTube to remove certain rap videos. Drill rap is a genre, a subgenre of rap that has grown in tandem with what police are saying has grown symbiotically with the rising gang crime and murder rate in London. It's popular among Britain's gangs. It's a form of rap music that is, in particular, coming from the sorts of council estates, the social housing areas that a lot of these young kids are coming from, who are affiliated with some of the gangs. YouTube has refused to take down 2/3 of the videos that the police are asking them to remove, and that begs the question. What is the line between artistic expression and the glorification of violence? See, again, like the last hour, what I fear is that in our clamour and desperation to find solutions to the rising murder rate and the drug and the gang epidemic in London, we're moving to shallow solutions that are band-aid solutions to the problem, that allow us as politicians, for example, to present to the rest of the country that we've done something. Look, I got a YouTube video, a music video taken down from YouTube. Or, look, I arrested X number of people for dealing in weed. That means I'm actually enforcing the law. We're doing something. And I think this tendency to want to show very visible efforts that are being done to try and reduce the crime rate is dangerous, because it's political. And actually the truth is, it's the same debate all over again. We've been there before when it comes to videos and content and violence. A decade or more ago, it was about films. It was about whether this particular film, Natural Born Killers or Psycho or The Exorcist, is causing murder and violence and devil worship, and therefore should we ban this film? Of course, The Exorcist was banned for a while. Should we censor this film? Should we cut scenes from the film that the director chose to leave in because of his artistic choice and expression? Shall we cut them because we don't think the public can handle this particular violent scene, because we are the ones who arbitrate taste. We are the ones who decide what you consume. We are the ones who decide that this particular scene is causing violence. And that debate was had with movies. It moved to games, if you recall. It moved to gamers and whether games are causing violence. Now, but it's come back to music. It's not new that it's currently focused on drill, which is a subgenre of rap music, because even when West Coast hip-hop first emerged in the form, in the powerful form of NWA, Straight Outta Compton, and that album, the federal government attempted to ban one of their tracks that was called F the Police, because that was a group, NWA, expressing their rage and their frustration at the way African Americans on the West Coast were being treated at the time by the LAPD, and the federal government's response was an attempt to ban that track. Many in middle America bought their albums, which used to be vinyl in those days, and set them alight on bonfires. But of course they had to pay for them to buy them first, so NWA still profited. And so this debate has come back around again, but my point is it's not new. It's been had over games, it's been had over films, it's been had in the past over West Coast hip-hop, and it's come back now because of grime, and in particular drill, which is a subgenre of hip-hop that's coming from some of these council estates, the social housing areas where a lot of these young kids who are affiliated to the gangs are also coming from. And I think it's all band-aid solutions. The relationship between artistic expression and violence. How on earth are you going to police that? Tell me what the difference is, in your mind, between a rapper glorifying gang violence and a rapper, you could change the word there and say a poet, describing the world in which they've grown up in. What is the difference there? If you think about it, how would you be able to tell the difference? How would you be able to delineate that difference and say, well, here is a rapper simply describing the violence that they've grown up in, which is a lamentation, and it's a cry for help, and here is a rapper glorifying violence. Now, I take the point. If somebody's using YouTube, and if they are using videos in particular to specifically incite targeted violence, that's different. YouTube already has rules that govern that, which is why 1/3 of the videos were taken down. But for them to refuse taking down 2/3 of the videos, I think demonstrates something. And it demonstrates that the police, and indeed, you know, the police have said this themselves, they're asking them to take down stuff that they're simply concerned about, as opposed to stuff that is directly inciting violence. Now, in times such as these, it's very easy and tempting for our authorities to exploit the moment, to seek to capitalize on the moment where public fear is increased, to start becoming more and more authoritarian. And that's what I'm warning against. We've seen it during the war on terror, and those laws that were introduced during the war on terror are still with us today. One of them, not least, that I'm a fierce critic of, is known as Schedule 7 under the Terrorism Act 2000. Did you know, folks, that it was brought in because of our collective fear of terrorism, that you no longer have the right to silence in any port of entry and exit from the UK. So Heathrow Airport, Gatwick Airport, any port where you sail across in a ferry to France, any port of entry or exit. If you're detained by the police under Schedule 7, not only have you been denied the right of silence by law, it's a criminal offence to remain silent. In other words, your silence is criminal. And that same law was used to detain left-wing activist David Miranda, who was on a USB stick attempting to pass information to Glenn Greenwald, and the same law was used against populist right-wing agitator Lauren Southern recently, because at the end of the day, when those laws are introduced that violate our liberties, whether left or right-wing, all of us are screwed by them. All of us suffer as a result of them. And I think we're in danger of doing the same thing again here with gang violence. Yes, it's a serious epidemic. Yes, it's a serious problem. It's alarming that our murder rate is higher than New York's. It's never happened before in history. But the solution isn't to give more power to the state in the form of telling us which music we can consume and which music videos we can watch. And in particular, if you think about it from the angle of these young kids, a lot of these young kids are joining gangs because they need a sense of belonging. Now, the power of music, and the power of the music in particular that's emerged from those atmospheres and that culture, can provide an alternative sense of belonging that is outside of the gangs. So this could even be counterproductive. We should surely be encouraging creative expression and encouraging these young kids to get involved with expressing themselves through music rather than through violence, as opposed to just taking these videos down.